Good afternoon, it's the 24th of February 2018 and you're here with Dan in Essex UK in the Polytunnel, and today we're going to be talking about leeks. Now, leeks are a great thing to grow in my opinion. They're tasty, they're cold hardy and they're versatile. Now, one of my favourites is leek and potato soup. To me that is just fantastic, and there's so many other uses, and you can simply boil them or steam them as a normal vegetable, so worth growing indeed. And they are related to garlic and onions and shallots and chives, etc. So a big family there of rather tasty vegetables indeed, so well worth growing. Now, the variety in which that we're talking about today is Musselburgh, and Musselburgh is an Old English variety, and it dates back to around the year, I think it was 1830, and it's known to withstand harsh weather. So certainly got a lot of things going for it, and these seeds were rather cheap actually. I forget the price, please correct me if I'm wrong. I got these from Pound Stretcher, and I think it was something like 75 pence for about 95 seeds. So even if 3/4 of these turn into leeks, that's a very good investment, isn't it, really? And one good thing about these is you can actually grow them in containers. I've done it before and it's well worth a go. And with regards to my container series coming up, leeks will be a thing that I will be involving in that. So I'll just show you what I like to do to get them going early in the season. So I'm just going to don my gloves because it's rather chilly out here. And what I like to do is get a pot about this size of normal all-purpose compost. You could use seed compost, but in my experience multi-purpose compost is just fine. And what I like to do, you can just about see where I've filled that up to. It's about, I don't know, 3 centimetres, an inch and a bit above the top of the pot. So you see that there. And what I like to do is get my seeds and simply scatter them on there. Now, you guys are probably thinking, and girls, whoever, you're probably thinking that this is a rather simplistic idea, but in my experience I've found it to be very good. Just try and open these seeds with these gloves on. It's not easy, you know. Oh dear. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, there they are, look. I don't know if you can see in there, you probably can't. You can just about see them. Look at that, shaking about in there. And what I'm going to do is get a little handful like this. They really are a nice looking seed, little sort of black things. And this is one of them tasks that you don't have to be overly fussy about. Which for somebody like myself, and probably you, who has limited time, this can be a worthwhile thing. So you hold this like this, and what you do is you simply scatter them on the top. I will show you what I've done. I'll put the camera on it, but I'm simply scattering them on the top of the compost. So let's have a look. There you go. So you can probably see them. You can see where I put the seeds on there. Now there's a few more to go. And with regards to growing leeks, I often find that it's very good, especially when you start, to grow stuff that's very much tried and tested, and leeks really are. There's a long history of leek consumption within human history, and one interesting thing is they're found to be part of the diet of the ancient Egyptians. So, you know, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? And very good indeed. And also, apparently the Emperor Nero used to like the consumption of leeks, used to like eating them, and he thought it helped with his singing voice. Who knows? But if you're a singer out there, maybe leeks are your thing. Maybe leeks will give you a voice, such as John Bon Jovi or Robert Plant or someone like that. Of course I'm playing around now, but you know, they are a healthy vegetable to eat and certainly well worth growing. And also, if you're watching my channel and you are in Wales, my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, is or if you have Welsh heritage, you might be interested to know, in my understanding, that the leek is the national emblem of Wales. So certainly a good cultural vegetable to grow, all them links. And if it's got history dating back to the ancient Egyptians, something will tell you that it's a good vegetable to grow. So I'm going to continue here. Now they are susceptible to rust actually, but we'll talk about that later in the season should it come along. I intend to chronicle the progress of these leeks from seed to vegetable. And I'm putting all of these seeds in here, and what will happen is they will germinate. In fact, if I put it up here you can see it. And what will happen is they will germinate, and they look like sort of just chives really. They look like small chives. Now there is a method in which you set these, and I have got a video how to grow leeks. You might want to check that one out. That's later on. So we put them in, and we keep putting them in, just along the top there. Now of course they won't stay in this pot. Probably, what is it now, going into March, maybe May, June time, I'll set them down the allotment, and some in some tubs. Now, I don't know what the price of leeks are, but if you're looking to do a bit of growing to, help the economy a bit, your own economy, leeks could be a good thing to grow, particularly if you like them. I'll put them in like that, and they're on there. Now, just going to make sure they're evenly spaced out. As I stated, it's not the end of the world if they're not, but try and get them with a little bit of space between them. And then what I like to do is get a bit more of my multi-purpose compost, and I'm simply going to get this and I'm going to put that on the top like that. And what I'm going to do is take this inside. Now, of course, what you want to make sure is you're going to water this, obviously. So what you want to do is make sure you have something underneath it, like a tray or something, or one of them small plastic dishes or whatever, plant dishes, and you put it under like that to stop the water going all over your windowsill and then all over your worktops or all over the floor. So you want to make sure you do that. And this compost that I used, ideally you want it to be a little bit on the warm side, meaning what you could do if you're setting it at the moment is this pot here of compost, before you put the leeks in, you can leave it in your house for a few days in a windowsill just to warm up a little bit, and you will find that will aid with the germination. Now what will happen is probably within, as I stated, about 2 months or so, I'll end up with little leeks in it, about that big. And then what I'll do is I'll take them down the allotment and I'll set them. And the method that I like to use to set leeks is you get a tool called a dibber, or you can even use a stick, which is about that round, and you simply make some holes in the ground about, I don't know, 8 inches apart, something like that, and about that deep. And then what you do is you simply drop your little leekling, we'll call it, in there, and then put a bit of water in, and make sure you then cover your leeklings up, because if you don't, quite often birds come along and pull them out thinking they are worms. So there's all these interesting things with regards to growing, but leeks in containers, and I'll probably be growing some in this container, or indeed some of these when they get a bit bigger, this container here with holes in the bottom. So you might want to look at purchasing some of these and something along these lines over here as a growing medium. Now, as I stated in my previous video, this is not necessarily the most cost-effective way of doing it, purchasing vegetable growing compost, but I have purchased this in order to show you guys and get you guys on your way. you know, with growing your own food if you're new to this, because I like to help people out, and you know, growing my own stuff has been a very good hobby, very interesting thing for me, and I'd like people to share in that enjoyment. So hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to put a little bit of water on this, and then it's going to go inside as stated. Now, one thing you can do, again, it's not really a secret, but the thing you can do is you can water it with a little bit of tepid water, not boiling obviously, but just slightly warm, and that will just help to, you know, get it going a little bit. So you can go and set your leeks now, follow my instructions, and you should have some good leeks to eat later in the year. Speak soon.